They told him it was just age. Low energy, weaker performance, not feeling like yourself. That's normal after 60, the doctor said with a half-hearted smile. But 3 months later, he ended up in the ER, not because of a heart attack, but because of dangerously restricted blood flow. In a place no one warned him about. It wasn't just his heart or legs, it was down there. His intimacy, his confidence, his sense of connection, all quietly slipping away while everyone kept blaming the calendar. Hi, I'm Dr. Mohit Kara. I've spent over 30 years helping men rebuild their health, their energy, and their relationships, naturally and without shame. And I'm here to tell you something no one else is saying. Aging isn't the problem. Poor circulation is. And the good news? You can do something about it. Now here's where it gets surprising. Most people think of eggs as just breakfast, maybe even something to avoid because of cholesterol. But what if I told you that when you use eggs like this, they can actually help open up blood vessels, improve flow where it matters most, and restore the intimacy you thought was gone? Yes, it sounds simple. But what I'm about to show you is based on nutritional science most doctors still overlook. And it's already helping men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s feel stronger, more alive, and reconnected again. I'll walk you through the exact method, why it works, and how to use it safely. But I'll also show you the one common mistake that could completely block these benefits. And why getting it right makes all the difference. So stay with me. What I'm about to share might just change the way you look at your breakfast and your future. Before we go any further, if you're finding this helpful or you're simply curious to learn more about how to stay strong, sharp, and connected after 60, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. This way, you'll never miss another health insight designed specifically for men like you. And if you're with me so far, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I'm always listening, and I want to keep improving these messages for you. Now that we've opened the door to this conversation, let's talk about what's really happening beneath the surface for so many men over 60. Because before we can fix the problem, we need to understand it. One of the most common, yet most overlooked challenges men face as they age isn't just fatigue or changes in performance. It's something deeper, something that quietly affects every system in the body: poor circulation. 1. A common struggle for men over 60, poor circulation. When I first began treating men in their 60s and beyond, I noticed a pattern. Almost every man who sat across from me had some version of the same quiet complaint. He'd pause, look down, then say something like, "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore." At first, they'd blame age. They'd say it with a shrug, as if this was just the price they had to pay for living past 60. But as I dug deeper, running blood tests, checking heart function, asking the right questions, I saw the truth. It wasn't really about age, it was about circulation. You see, as we grow older, our blood vessels naturally begin to stiffen. The lining of our arteries, the endothelium, becomes less elastic. Plaque builds up, and the highways that carry oxygen and nutrients throughout the body begin to narrow. This happens slowly, almost invisibly, but over time, it takes its toll. You might feel it in your fingers and toes first. That coldness that doesn't quite go away. Then you might notice your energy dipping earlier in the day. That afternoon walk feels heavier, and in more personal, vulnerable moments. When connection matters most, your body may not respond the way it once did. These aren't just annoyances, they're signs. Your body is trying to tell you something, that the flow that once supported your mind, your muscles, and yes, your intimacy, is no longer moving freely. And the frustrating part? Most men don't realize that this is something they can change. They assume their only option is to accept the decline or rely on prescriptions that treat the symptom but not the cause. But I want you to know, as someone who's walked this road with thousands of men, there's another way. You can support your circulation naturally. You can feel stronger, clearer, and more confident again. And surprisingly, one of the tools that can help you do that isn't found in a prescription bottle. It's something much simpler, something most of us have overlooked for years. And that brings me to what might be the most unexpected part of this entire conversation: How something as ordinary as an egg could help support the very blood flow your body is craving. Let me show you how. If you're still here and this message is resonating with you, drop a number 1 in the comments so I know you're with me. Your response helps me keep creating content that truly supports you. Now, let's keep going and dive into the next important point. 2. The serious risks of poor circulation. Poor circulation isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's not something you simply live with because you've hit a certain age. I've had men walk into my office complaining about cold feet, brain fog, or feeling less steady when they stand up too quickly. But underneath those symptoms, there's often something much more serious at play. The truth is, when blood doesn't flow the way it's supposed to, it affects nearly every part of your body. And the damage can run far deeper than most people realize. Your heart is the first to feel it. When arteries are narrowed or hardened, the heart has to work harder to pump blood, leading to elevated blood pressure, higher risk of heart attacks, and chronic fatigue. I remember one patient, Robert, who had been healthy all his life. He exercised, ate what he thought was a decent diet, and yet he constantly felt drained. It turned out that his arteries were so constricted that his heart was operating in overdrive every single day, just to meet basic demands. No wonder he was exhausted. Then there's the brain. Decreased blood flow to the brain means less oxygen, less mental clarity, slower memory, and a foggy sense of self. I've heard men describe it as feeling like they were living behind glass. Present, but not quite fully there. It's a terrifying feeling, especially when you remember how sharp you used to be. And of course, there's the deeply personal toll. The blood vessels involved in sexual function are among the smallest in the body. That means they're often the first to be affected. When blood flow is limited, arousal becomes difficult, and performance suffers. But even more painful than the physical changes is the emotional weight that comes with them. I've sat with men who feel like they've lost their sense of masculinity, who quietly grieve the part of themselves they think is gone forever. But here's what I tell them. Poor circulation doesn't mean you're broken. It means your body is asking for help. And that help doesn't always come in the form of a prescription pad. Sometimes it starts with changing something small, something you see every day but never thought twice about. And believe it or not, the next step toward reclaiming your strength and restoring the flow of life through your body might just be sitting in your kitchen right now. 3. Eggs. A simple, overlooked solution. If someone had told me 30 years ago that one of the most powerful tools for restoring circulation and vitality in older men would be something as simple as an egg, I might have laughed. Back then, like most doctors, I bought into the mainstream advice. Avoid eggs, they're bad for your cholesterol, they clog your arteries. But as the years went by, and as I dove deeper into real human outcomes, not just lab numbers, I saw something different. I saw what happened when men stopped fearing whole foods and started nourishing their bodies in smarter ways. I'll never forget one patient, Howard, 72 years old, quiet, proud, a retired school teacher. He came to me not because he was sick, but because he felt less alive. That was how he described it. He missed feeling strong, missed feeling present, missed feeling connected to his wife the way he used to. We talked about his habits. His sleep, his movement, his meals, and I asked him what he ate for breakfast. Just coffee, he said, and maybe a slice of toast. For years, he'd been told to avoid eggs because of cholesterol, so he did. What he didn't realize, what many don't, is that eggs are packed with nutrients that directly support circulation and vascular health. They contain choline, which helps maintain the lining of blood vessels. They provide arginine, which the body uses to produce nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes and opens up the arteries. They're rich in B vitamins, which help your blood carry oxygen more efficiently. And when sourced right, pasture-raised, organic when possible, they even contain healthy fats that support hormone balance. When I encouraged Howard to bring eggs back into his morning, but prepare them the right way, something shifted. A few weeks later, he came back smiling. "Doc," he said, "I didn't know food could make me feel like this again." And he wasn't alone. Men all over the country are beginning to rediscover this forgotten food and realizing it's not the enemy, it might just be an ally. But here's where it gets tricky. While eggs can be incredibly helpful, there's a right way and a wrong way to use them. And if you're not careful, the same food that could heal your arteries might actually be making things worse. Let me show you what to avoid. And how to keep this simple solution working in your favor. If you're still watching and finding this information helpful, go ahead and type the number 1 in the comments. It lets me know you're here and that this message is landing where it needs to. Now, let's keep moving forward with point number 4. 4. Warning: using eggs the wrong way can be harmful. It's incredible how something so simple, so natural, can become either a powerful tool for healing or, if handled the wrong way, a quiet contributor to harm. Over the years, I've seen it too many times. A man takes the advice to eat more whole foods, adds eggs back into his diet, and truly wants to feel better. But without realizing it, he prepares them in a way that strips away the benefits and actually works against his body. I remember one gentleman, Tom, 68, former contractor, tough as nails, who came to me after months of eating eggs again because he'd heard they were good for him. But instead of feeling better, he felt heavier, more sluggish, even a little more irritable. So we talked about how he was preparing them. Fried in vegetable oil, just like I've always done, he said. Right there, we found the problem. When you cook eggs in heavily processed oils like canola, soybean, or corn oil, you introduce high levels of oxidized fats into your bloodstream. These oils, especially when heated to high temperatures, create inflammation in the arteries, the exact thing we're trying to avoid. Add to that the habit of pairing eggs with bacon, sausage, or other processed meats, and you're now flooding your system with sodium, nitrates, and saturated fats that constrict blood vessels and increase your risk of heart disease. And then there's overcooking. Scrambling eggs until they're dry or frying them until the edge is brown might be traditional, but it also destroys delicate nutrients like choline and B vitamins. The very elements that support your circulation and brain health are lost in the heat. It's a frustrating irony, I know. You're trying to do something right, and without the right guidance, you can end up unintentionally working against yourself. But the good news is, this is easy to fix. With just a few simple adjustments, you can turn your morning eggs into a true healing food, and that's exactly what we're going to cover next. So if you've ever wondered, what's the healthiest way to prepare an egg? The answer is coming up, and it might surprise you. 5. Safe and effective ways to use eggs. Once you understand the potential that eggs hold, and the risks that come from using them the wrong way, the next natural question is, so how should I use them? That's the part I love to talk about, because when you prepare eggs with care and purpose, they become more than just food. They become fuel for your heart, your brain, your hormones, and your sense of connection to yourself and the people you love. What I often recommend to my patients is simple but powerful. Start your day with 2 pasture-raised eggs, gently cooked, either poached, soft-boiled, or scrambled low and slow in a little olive oil or grass-fed butter. This preserves the nutrients your body needs, like choline, B vitamins, and those healthy amino acids that support nitric oxide production. And don't stop there. Add a handful of sautéed spinach or kale, rich in natural nitrates that help dilate your blood vessels. Slice up half an avocado for healthy fats that support testosterone and brain function. And if you're up for it, sprinkle a bit of turmeric and black pepper for an anti-inflammatory boost. It may not sound flashy, it may not look like a miracle, but give it 7 days, just 1 week, and you might be shocked at what you feel. I've had men tell me their hands and feet feel warmer, their minds feel clearer. One man even said he felt more emotionally present with his wife after just a few mornings of eating with intention. That's the power of circulation. When blood flows freely, so does everything else. This isn't about going on a diet. It's about giving your body what it needs to do what it was always meant to do. You're not trying to turn back the clock. You're just clearing the pathways that got blocked over time and letting your natural vitality return. And now that you know how to use this simple food to your advantage, it's time to step back and look at the bigger picture. Because while eggs may be the start, they're just one part of a much larger truth, A truth about aging, strength, and the life that still waits for you. Let's bring it all together. Conclusion. After more than 30 years of walking alongside men in the later stages of life, I've come to realize one simple but profound truth. Your body never truly gives up on you, unless you give up on it first. The changes you feel after 60, the cold hands in the morning, the lingering fatigue, the quiet frustration behind closed doors, these are not signs of weakness. They are signals. Signals that your body is speaking to you, asking for care, for nourishment, not just at the surface level, but from deep within. We began this conversation with something seemingly small, an egg. A food so familiar, so ordinary, it's easy to overlook. But now you know, it's not just an egg. It's a source of choline that helps keep your vessels clear, B vitamins that support circulation, and amino acids essential for the harmony between your heart and your intimacy. And when you prepare it the right way, it becomes a quiet ally, helping you feel stronger, more clear-headed, and more connected, not just to your body, but to your life. You've also seen that poor circulation isn't just an inconvenience. It affects your heart, your brain, and the most intimate relationships in your life. You've learned how the wrong cooking oils or old habits passed down from generations that didn't know better can silently work against you. But most importantly, you've seen that healing isn't out of reach. It doesn't require a harsh diet or expensive treatments. Sometimes it begins with a pan, a couple of eggs, and a small shift in how you choose to care for yourself each morning. I've seen many men change their lives through these small steps. Not overnight, not with magic, but with consistency, with intention, and with the belief that they still had something to give. To say to their families, to their partners, and to themselves. So before you close this video, I invite you to do something simple. Open your fridge. Look at what you'll be putting on your plate tomorrow morning. And ask yourself, what might happen if you stopped treating breakfast like an afterthought and started treating it as the beginning of something better? You're not finished yet, and neither is your body. It's waiting for you to come back. Keep that blood flowing, and let your life keep moving with it. If something in this message resonated with you, even just a little, do me a small favor. Hit the like button so more men can find this. Share it with a friend, a brother, or someone you care about who might be quietly struggling and needs to hear there's still hope. And if you can, leave a comment. Tell me your story, what you've tried, what you've noticed, or simply that you're starting to pay attention to your health again. I read every single one, and your words might be exactly what another man needs to hear. This isn't just a video, it's a conversation between men who want to live with strength, with connection, and with purpose. And we're just getting started. Let's keep going, together.